Welcome everyone to this Flex workshop on Canvas requirements +1. I'm so grateful that you're choosing to spend some of your valuable time with me here, and look forward to engaging with you in a helpful workshop and hopefully will help you and of course our students. My name is Greg Beyer. I'm the Distance Education Coordinator for Cosumnes River College. I also teach history here. In this workshop, we will be talking about how to fulfill the minimum usage requirements for Canvas under our contract. So these requirements have been in our contract now for a couple of years. And having gone through the pandemic, we know one reason why it's important to be able to switch quickly to remote instruction. We actually, prior to the pandemic, had reason to do this when we had air quality issues from fires back in the fall of 2019, and I think even before that. So in our contract now, we have a requirements to use Canvas, and there are 4 things that we have to do. I'm going to show you how to do each of those 4 things, and then I'm going to add a +1, which is something I think can really benefit our students. And if we're using Canvas already, we can do that. Again, this is a requirement for all of our classes, both in person and online. The mode of instruction doesn't matter. And I will, of course, pause for questions after each of these sections. I'm going to demonstrate these for you. And then depending on how much time we have at the end of the session, whatever things you guys want to talk about, I'm happy to explore where those are. So I'm going to first advance to the next slide and talk about that first requirement, which is edit the default homepage. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. First of all, go back over to my dashboard in Canvas. By default, as you hopefully know by now, every class gets a Canvas course. Our students, users are automatically enrolled and then unenrolled from those courses as drops and adds happen. The courses are created right around when the schedule of classes is made public for the following term. So our spring 23 courses will be published, or will be created rather, in sometime in late October. And then our students, users, and we're enrolled in those courses as well. So as soon as the courses are created, instructors are enrolled. Our students are then enrolled about a week before the semester starts. So on Saturday, a couple of days ago, that's when enrollment processing began. So in your Canvas courses for this semester, you should see your students there. And then one good thing to know about how often the rosters are updated. In Canvas, these rosters are updated once every 4 hours. But the other system that we use as faculty, so that's that system where we will submit our final grades of the semester. It's also the system where we will drop students and get permission numbers. That's called the intranet, or the online grades and roster system. That roster is only updated once a day. So your Canvas roster will likely be more accurate than your roster on that other system. So this is my Canvas course dashboard. All the courses in which I'm enrolled by default appear here. And there is a section for unpublished courses, which is at the bottom. The course I'm going to use for this workshop here is my course section 1.6180. You see that it's a Fantasy History 11th course. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that to enter it. By default, every course at Cosumnes River College, every Canvas course gets a shell that has some content that's in it, including this homepage, which is there by default. And the first thing, let me go back to my list here, edit the default homepage. Oh, yeah, right. The first requirement is to add our contact information. So what we can do here is edit the default homepage that's in the course. There is an edit button. Much of the text that's on this page, is relevant for us, but won't be relevant for our students. So I'm going to, first of all, change the name of my class up at the top. And then I'm going to remove all of this text here as is suggested. We have a suggestion here to include a welcome or front page message here. That's not a requirement, so I'm not going to do that right now. But I will add my contact information. And then I'm going to hit the save button. And now I have met the first requirements to add instructor contact. Let's see, does anyone have any questions on that? Okay, hopefully you thought that was pretty easy. I think it is too. The second requirement is to upload to post your syllabus. And I think the easiest way to do that is to upload a file to the syllabus page. Now, in Canvas, there is a course menu item called syllabus, and the syllabus information, we have some default information there. Welcome to this Canvas course. So the easiest thing to do here is to just upload the file that I was going to email anyway to my division office. And to do that, I select the edit button. I'm going to give myself an insertion point in the rich content editor text box there. And then inside Canvas on the toolbar here, there is a button to upload a file, to link a file rather. And one of the options there is upload documents. I get a place where I can drag and drop. And if I find that file in my folder, here it is, drag and drop, and then hit the submit button. And I have just uploaded my file to my syllabus to my Canvas course. I'll select the button to update syllabus. Notice that the link text, so that's the text that's actually on the page that students select, that matches the file name. And my students, then they can click on that and they should get a preview. Yep, there's a preview of that syllabus file for my students. And now I have met the second minimum requirement for Canvas usage. Any questions?
Greg, when you do that, when you upload it and link it,
yeah,
does it automatically save that file in the file section?
Great question, Mark. So every time you upload a file to your Canvas course, yes, if you select the files link from the course menu, you'll see it's probably the uploaded media or maybe the uploaded media 2 folder. That file is there. Yeah. Great question. Okay. All right. 2 requirements down, 2 more to go. Number 3 is publish the course. And there's a button on the course homepage marked publish. If you select that button, your course will be published. If you happen to be following along, I don't suggest you do this, what I'm about to do, because you already have students in the class. And as soon as that course is published in Canvas, students will be able to see it on their dashboard, and they will reasonably assume that you are ready to hear their questions and to hear their enthusiasm about how awesome your class is going to be this semester. So you may or may not be ready to do that just now. This class is a sandbox class. There aren't any students enrolled, I don't think. Let's see my people page here. Oh, no one's there. Perfect. So from the home page, select the publish button. Now this course is published. And if I go back to my dashboard, so that's selecting the college logo on the global navigation, I'll see that course is now amongst my published courses. And if I scroll around, I will see it, I'm sure. It might be towards the bottom. Let's see. I know I called it History 311. Hey, it says, nope, it's no longer there. It's not, so it should be there. Let me refresh and make sure. Oh, there it is right there. I already saw it. So there's that course I just published. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know this, within the Canvas dashboard, you can click and drag and drop your course tiles in any order. So let me put this at the top of my list so that I'm ready to see it right away. And so now I have met the third requirements, which is to select the publish button. Any questions on this and what we've done so far?
Greg,
yeah, man.
The course should be published on the first day of class, which is Saturday, 12:01 a.m., right?
That's a great question.
For online classes.
Right. So when you publish your course, to me, the most important thing you can do for your students is make sure that the course is ready for them, obviously. In terms of when you publish your course, I think the right answer to that question is what is reasonable for your students. If you're teaching an in-person course or an asynchronous online course where you have a specific time and day that you're first going to meet your students, then obviously that day, anytime before you meet your students would be a good time to do that. If you're teaching a fully online asynchronous course, technically the semester does start on Saturday, August 20th. So publishing your course on that date anytime is fine. Excuse me. What I like to do is, and I sent an email out with a, I think I have a video in my 5 minutes of Canvas series I published this week. What I like to do is actually publish my course on Thursday before the semester starts. And I have a note in my calendar to go on Thursday evening to publish that course. And I do that because I want my students to have access to the syllabus before we actually engage in material and engage in activities. And I also, with that publishing, I send them an announcement that has kind of a, hey, course is about to start video. It also has some information for them on how to be successful online students. So that way, that kind of stuff that's not directly related to the content I'm teaching, I want to give them access to that as soon as I can. That's a great question. Okay. What's the fourth requirement? Is to require that our students visit our course. So remember, the reason that we have this requirement that we all use Canvas and we all publish our Canvas courses is so that in the unfortunate emergency that we have to shut campus down for a period of time because of the next pandemic or because of the next wildfire that causes a terrible air quality, then we want our students to already have had the experience of accessing our Canvas course prior to that moment, right? So the Canvas course is published, they have our contact information, the syllabus is there, but we also want to make sure, again, that they have that experience of clicking and doing something inside Canvas. So I suggest that we take advantage of the content that we've already put up there, which is our syllabus. And of course, we want to make sure that our students actually read the syllabus. And what's the most important thing that's in the syllabus is what students will learn in the course. And so I'm going to show you how to create a one-question quiz that says, basically, what are you going to learn in this course? And I'm going to do this using my course learning outcomes, which are on the syllabus anyway. I, of course, assume that my students read the syllabus carefully as soon as they get it. And I want to make sure that they understand what's on the syllabus. So I'll go back into my course. And I'm going to put this quiz on the syllabus page because that's right where it is. So I'm going to edit this and I'm going to say, after you read the syllabus, take the syllabus quiz. Okay, now I don't yet have the quiz created, but I'm preparing the instructional context for the activity that my students are going to do, right? It's in the right place, it's on the syllabus page. I've told them why they're going to take this quiz or how to take it or when to take it. So I'm going to select update syllabus for now. And then now I'm going to go to the quizzes tool. That's the link here in course navigation. And I'm going to create a new quiz. For the title, I'm going to call it course syllabus quiz. And for the instructions, now the instructions are visible during the, the instructions are visible both before and during when students are taking the quiz. So I'm going to type something here that will say, this quiz will help me know that you understand what's okay, very simple, direct questions. I'm going to go straight to the questions tab on this page, and I'm going to create a new question. This field here where it has the default word question, I don't have to change that, but I might as well give it a title because if I decide to use this tool later on or reuse this question, I'll be able to identify it more easily. So the question is, here's my question text. Which of the following is not a course learning outcome? And the correct answer, which is going to be the incorrect answer, I'm sorry, which is going to be not a course outcome, right? I've got it right there. Articulate the differences between the Marvel and DC cinematic universes. For the correct answers, I'm going to go to my official course outline of record that's accessed via the internet services. Again, it's probably on my syllabus already. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna actually grab it from my syllabus. So let me do this. I'll go to my syllabus page. I'm gonna click on that link there. I think I can copy and paste from this interface here. So here are the 3 outcomes from my class. Let's see if I can copy these. Great. Come over to my quiz. And I'm going to use this big text box here to help me clean this up a little bit. So the 3 outcomes are, this is the first one here about demonstrating the knowledge of events, individuals, and themes from United States history. So I'll cut that, paste that in my possible answer here. Okay, the second outcome is the second one here, relating to historiography. And the third one here is the higher level analytical skills. Cut, delete, paste. Now, my course happens to have 3 learning outcomes, and by default, a multiple choice question in Canvas has 4 possible answers. So that's perfect for me because I need one answer that's correct. But if I want to add additional answers, there's a link to do that. So if my course happens to have 5 or 6 different outcomes, I can add additional answers. And then if I need fewer than those, there's a trash can icon that appears when I hover my mouse over the question that I can select to delete this answer and then delete this answer. So I've got a question, right? Which of the following is not a course learning outcome? Maybe I'll take that word not and make it bold so it's a little bit easier for my students to understand. I've got my correct answer selected, that's indicated. I've got the other possible answers. I'm going to select the update question button. I'm going to go back over to the details tab because there's one thing I want to select to make this a little bit, require my students to pay a little bit more careful attention, is there's a checkbox here called Shuffle Answers. That means each time this quiz is presented, those 4 possible answers will be presented in a random order. So I'll select the Shuffle Answers option. And then now, do I want my students to see their responses? Yes. So I want them to see the correct answers? Absolutely. Do I want to allow multiple attempts? Why not? I want my students to feel good. So let them take it over and over again if they have to get a correct answer. And then before I hit save and publish, I'm going to do one last thing and actually go over to the questions tab. And I didn't mention this is the point value for this question. So I'm going to leave it as default, and that's 1. And I'll select save and publish. And now before I pause for questions, I will do what's a good idea to do once you create a quiz is select the preview button. So I'm previewing what this quiz will look like when one of my students take it. There's the quiz instructions, right? You can see there's the question and the answers. You can see already that the answers have been scrambled. If I get it incorrect and I select submit, okay, I got, where did I go? Oh, there it is. I got score 0 out of 1. Okay, let's try again. This time, let's get it right. I'm sorry, let me go back. Oh, let's get it wrong one more time. And because of the quiz settings, right, my students see how they answer. They also see what the correct answer is. Oh, articulate the differences between the marble. Okay, so now as a student, I'm going to retake this quiz, and this time we'll get it right. Okay, great. 1 out of 1, that looks good. So I know this works for my students. And before I link to it from the syllabus page, let me pause here and see if there are any questions about creating a 1-question multiple choice quiz.
Craig,
yeah.
Does this quiz need to be completed within the first week, or what's the deadline for students to complete this?
Great question. From the perspective of what the contract says about our minimum use of Canvas, it's silence on by when students have to have interacted with Canvas, right? Once I link the quiz to once I provide my students with the link to the quiz, which I haven't done yet, I've only created the quiz, right? Then they take the quiz, I've met that requirement for the contract. In a fully online class, this is a great example of something that should be due during the first week because it is a way for us to take attendance. Right? We don't, in a fully online asynchronous class, we're not calling students' names out taking roll like we do in person or like we might do in a synchronous class. this is a great way to, again, to take roll, right? To make sure that students are in class. And that's actually one of the things I do. I require my students I take a pre-course survey, so it's got more questions in this. I also require them to post an introduction. And then I got a couple of quizzes that are related to the content that I'm teaching that are all due in that first week. And I tell them up front, you have to get these things done if you want to maintain your enrollments in the class. And that's what I do in lieu of taking roll that first day, because under board policy, we should be dropping students, right, who don't show up at the beginning of the class. So great question.
Yeah, reason I ask is I've always maintained an orientation quiz, and the time with 10 questions for 10 points or whatever points. And it's for them to read the syllabus, complete an assignment within the first 2 weeks though, because if they don't do that, they're dropped from the class. Because we're given 2 weeks. So that would satisfy this fourth requirement then, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, if you're teaching an asynchronous class, good instructors are already doing exactly what you mentioned, right? Something to engage students in that initial part of the class. It benefits us to survey our students, right? To get to know them, to get to know their expectations, perhaps the purpose we might use a survey, and also meets this requirements. And then also is a way for us to take roll. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Greg, I had the students send me a chat. I do synchronous. So as soon as they sign in, I tell them right away, send me a private chat saying that they're here. Is that okay to do that?
Absolutely, yeah. How you take roll in a synchronous class, right? Assuming you're meeting via Zoom, that's a perfect way to do it. It's also true that in Zoom, you get an automatic, every Zoom meeting, there's a report generated that lists exactly who attended and for how long they attended.
Oh, how do we get that report?
Let's see. Why don't I do a quick sidetrack?
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, no problem, because we're talking about taking attendance. So if you go, if you go to lrccd.zoom.
And also, how do you save chat in Zoom? It changed again where I couldn't figure it out for this meeting I went to this morning.
Right.
I want to save the chat.
Yeah, during a Zoom meeting, you can save chat. If you are the host of the Zoom meeting, by default, the chat is automatically saved for you. So lrccd.zoom.us, that's our Los Rios Zoom website, and then select the sign in button.
Oh, I found out last term, or the last time I used it, which is a couple terms ago, you have to turn a switch on to tell it to automatically save. It won't automatically save unless you flip a switch.
Thank you. So when you sign into your Zoom account, I'm going to log in and I'll see my Zoom homepage. And there it is. The reports link, and then usage, you'll see, oh, maybe not usage. Let's try meetings. I know it's in here. Where is it? User activity reports? Nope. That's when I report people. Well, this is funny because I don't see any. Okay. Oh, because look at my search range. Yeah. Let's change that to August 1st. There we go. So here is a Zoom meeting that I had yesterday, or let's see, August 2nd. I had a meeting that lasted 95 minutes and there were 2 people there. If I were to click this link, I would see those 2 people listed. I don't want to because I don't want to violate anyone's privacy, but that's how I would find out exactly who's there. It will show whoever's Zoom username is. So if I'm looking at the list in our class right now, I see all names, that would be great. I don't know if anyone, so there are a couple of names, things like folks that I haven't met yet. So I don't know if you are using Zoom, if a computer or someone else was signed into Zoom. It's whoever is signed in at the moment they join the meeting, right? So that is the name that would show up. But it is a way to take attendance. But Mark, your suggestion for having students send you a meeting, that absolutely, that works very well. John.
Yeah. I have used this function in the past, and the problem I found with it is people's names on Zoom can be anything from their phone number to a nickname, and it's not necessarily a name associated with the student and your Socrates roll sheet
That's right.
or with Canvas.
That's right.
The other question or statement is there a better way of integrating this information from Zoom into the role or the attendance on Canvas other than us manually going through, taking this information, sorting through it, which for me was pretty much useless and I never did it. Excuse me, I did it half a dozen times and that was it.
Thank you, John, for validating its uselessness. The attendance tool in Canvas is not meant for us. It's meant for K-12 faculty who have students in specific chairs for them to, they're taking roll every day in that way. And attendance also messes up the grade book, in my experience when I tried using it myself. So how we document attendance, let's see. I know for me, because I don't give points for showing up, I give points for getting stuff done. And I teach asynchronous, so I don't have to worry about the week-to-week attendance. But I am asked for when did this student last attend class, right? Any student that we give an F grade to, we have to document, we have to say that we have documentation for their last date of attendance. And this, Zoom report would be a way to guesstimate that. Yeah.
So you're recommending like a simple quiz at the end of the lecture or someplace in the lecture to help with in Canvas to help with the attendance?
Yeah, actually, that's what I do. In fact, when I teach in person, I started doing group activities every time we meet. And yes, group activities are good and there's a benefit for it. But one of the side benefits was I didn't have to take attendance. I didn't have to take roll rather at those, because in my group activities, right, I would, there would be something in the class they would do. They would create a product and a sheet of paper. And every time I would say, make sure you write down everyone who's here. And that was how I learned who attended, who attended class that day. Okay, so I haven't yet fulfilled that final requirement in my class. Oh my gosh, because I haven't yet made this link available to my students. So this is a good time for me to point out in Canvas, a thing can exist like a quiz. This is also true for assignments, discussions, files, and the thing can be published, right? My quiz is published, but if my students can't access it, they can't do it or they can't find it or whatever. So I have to make the quiz available to my students. One way to do that is I could enable the quizzes link in course navigation. I don't want to do that because then that would give my students access to all the published quizzes. And I want them to have the context right before they start doing the thing. So back on my syllabus page, remember I prepped a link for this. And there it is right there. I'm going to make these words into a link. So I have to edit the page, of course. And then I'm going to take these words, syllabus quiz. And in the rich content editor toolbar, there is a button for adding a link. And if I select the arrow next to it, one of the options is course links. And if I select course links, I then get this tray that pops out that shows all the things that are in my course, including quizzes and the quiz that I just created, course syllabus quiz. So I'll select that and click update syllabus. And now my students have access to this quiz. And now I have met all 4 requirements. I am ready to go. Any questions on that last thing I did where I added a link? Okay. Okay.
Greg, really quick.
Yeah.
If you want to change the document that's linked to, could you go through that really quick?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that'll give me a chance to talk about one of the things that's neat about Canvas. Because this syllabus quiz link is
you update your syllabus. You update your syllabus. You want to put a new syllabus.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Because this syllabus quiz link is a link to an internal Canvas tool, every time I copy this course over, the quiz will be copied over and this link will be corrected so that it points to the quiz in the new course, right? Or let's say I'm copying from, between multiple courses the same semester. But Mark, you bring up a great question. What happens if I want to change my syllabus? Or say I do change my syllabus, or again, give the example of the future semester. I can replace the file. And if I replace the file with the same file name, right there it is, History 10 Fall 22 syllabus.pdf, Canvas is so smart that it will say, do you want to replace it? And I'll say, yeah, I do. And now that same file, that link that, you know, from the student's perspective, will go to the same place. So that's the thing, right? Is to change the file, or sorry, to keep the same file name. But let's say I have a different file name. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll do that as well. I'll rename this file and I'll call this part 2. Okay. So I'll do the same thing, right? Go to files. And then if I go to that folder, or I can drop it anywhere really, and I'll just drop it in. Okay, so now I have 2 files with the name syllabus as part of the file name. I have to change that link on the syllabus page in this example. So here I would go to edit. I would take this file and I'm going to remove the link. And then while I've got the text selected, go to the file link. And, you know, I could upload a new file at this point, or because I've already uploaded it, I can go to course documents, and then it'll be on this list here. There it is, part 2. And that just updated the link. Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah.
About that instead of posting the PDF file, can I make like Canvas pages, and then I can keep updating on the Canvas directly?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it is also possible to, I think it's not a good idea, and I'll show you why.
Yeah.
You can go to Canvas pages, right? So pages, these are basically web pages that are inside Canvas, right? And in our courses at CRC, the Canvas homepage is a Canvas page. You see it there, right? Called Welcome. You can create a page, and I'll call this page Syllabus. And then tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'll put some random information on this page here. Let's see. I mean, give me some Latin text here. Let's go to. So I'll get 15 paragraphs of random text. Copy that. So here's this Canvas page I just created, right? And let's see if I can paste. There we go. And let me, because I'm a stickler for I want things to be a little bit easier. Let me just stick some stuff in here, right? We can imagine that our syllabi looking something like this. Okay. So I've just created a content page. I've filled it with some contents. It has to be published in order to be visible to students, however they access it. And then I'll click Save and Publish. So this page called Syllabus is now linkable from elsewhere inside Canvas. So if I go back to my syllabus tool, I edit the syllabus tool, right? I'll do the same thing before. I'm going to remove the link, and I'm going to, well, I'll leave the link blank. Let's see what this looks like. What am I doing? I'm adding a course link, and I'm going to add a page, and this page is called Syllabus. So I'm going to select it, right? You see the link which is added. The link text is the page file, or the page name rather. So I'll click Update Syllabus. Yes, this meets the same interest of giving my students access, easy access to the syllabus inside Canvas. Here's why I don't like that, is that if I'm a student and I click on that link, I go to that content page, but there really isn't any obvious way for me to navigate away from this page unless I click, back on the home page. If I'm using modules, which is a good idea for any class that uses Canvas, right, to organize all the stuff that we have. I prefer having something when they click on this link on the home page, sorry, on the syllabus page, I prefer that it goes to open in a new window. So whether that, or, whether it's a file like I had before, that's obviously separate from Canvas. And again, the reason is that I don't like it. I don't like my students having to worry about the Canvas navigation when they're looking at something that isn't directly part of the Canvas course. I hope that makes sense. but it's definitely possible. In fact, here's what you could do actually to make it even more friendly for students, is I can take that page and I can edit it and then maybe add a link at the top that says, not a link rather, but says a note saying, after you read the syllabus, use the links in the course navigation menu. Explore our course, whatever the language is, right? So what I just did, that little line of text that I added to the top, that's a way to make that more friendly, more usable, whatever. So yeah, great question.
I mean,
Okay.
for my case, I make the like outline of the syllabus on the syllabus button, right? If you click the syllabus and then I make the outline of the syllabus, so like section 1, title, and then they click each section and then they go to the page. So I create the different pages for each section of the syllabus.
Yeah, that's actually something that some instructors do. And I will actually, let me hold on to that and I'll come back and show that, because I want to make sure I get through the through the topic. So let's hold on to that thought and I will definitely get back to that. So let me come back to the presentation, and I'm actually going to very quickly do a time check. Okay, we're about halfway done. Sorry. Okay, we end at 2:30. Perfect. Okay. So that's the minimum 4 steps we have to do. And now I'm going to do the +1. And I think that this is the next best thing we can do to help our students be successful in our class is to give them feedback to their assignments online. So if we're doing online assignments, we're probably doing this already. But if we're teaching an in-person class, we're having students hand in stuff on paper, we want to give them feedback. We want our students to have easy access to, and not just easy, we want them to have 24-hour-a-day access to information that matters to them. And of course, the syllabus is part of that. And of course, students want to know what their grades are. So a way to do that is to use the Canvas gradebook and to use the Canvas assignments tool. And I'm gonna walk you through doing that. I'll see if you have questions, and then I'll come back and show you this other way of doing the syllabus doing the syllabus in Canvas. Okay, so from the screenshot, you can see here in this class, I'm going to have a total of 8 assignments. I've got 6 writing assignments, a theme project, and the final exam. And I'm going to probably flip back and forth as I create these things, but I'll start with going to the grades page. The grades page in Canvas shows all the assignments as column headers and then the scores for each of our students. But how we add columns to the grades page is we do that on the assignments page. So every assignment that's worth points will have a column in the grades page, and that's where we add scores for our students. So I'm going to go again very quickly and just create these assignments. There's a plus symbol on the assignments bar here. This first assignment is going to be called writing assignment 1. I'm going to copy that so I don't have to retype it. This one is due September 7th, and it's going to be worth 100 points. And I'll select save and publish. And then I'm going to keep clicking that button. Writing assignments 2. That one's due September 21st. Writing assignment 3 is going to be due September 35th, which is October 5th. Oops. Writing assignment 4 is due October 19th. Writing assignment 5 is due October 33rd, which is November 2nd. And I'm typing before I'm thinking. And then writing assignment 6 is due November 16th. And then I had an assignment called a theme project And that was worth 300 points until November 30th. And then the final exam is going to be on December 12th. I said it was 10 a.m. I'll talk about the time in just a moment here. And I said that was worth 200 points, okay? So I've just created assignments for my class, and I can use this now in the grades page to give my students feedback. So I have one student in here, it's called a test student. Every Canvas course has a test student, and it's a great way to do exactly what I'm doing now, is explore what things look like from a student's perspective. I'm going to go back to my presentation here and say, so I created those things with due dates, so perfect. And then I'll show you the giving feedback. So these assignments, let me go back to the assignments page, this will be easier to see. By default, if you don't type a time in, the time an assignment is due is 11:59 p.m. Remember that Canvas was built for a fully online class, so this is where students might be turning in their assignments online. I'm not doing it in this case. This is for an in-person class where everything's going to be on paper. So the time that I add there probably is a good idea to match that time to the beginning of class, the day that that assignment is due. So I remember that the final exam was due at, our final exam is going to be at 10 a.m. on December 12th. These other assignments, I'm only going to click and change one of them. So if I edit the assignments, I'm going to click the edit button, and I'm only going to change the due date. So instead of saying September 7th at 11:59 p.m., I think my class meets at 9 a.m. And then I'll click save, go back to my assignments list, right? Due September 7th at 9 a.m. So now my students will get this idea, right? They'll know exactly that. That'll be a reminder perhaps of when our class meets. And of course, the assignment due dates are there. And then to give feedback to my students, if I go to the grades page, I can select the cells in this table and basically just start just typing in a number. You can type a number more than the points possible if you want to. Okay. If I want to give my students detailed feedback, I can select the Atkins menu for this cell in this table on the grades page. And one of the options is a speed grader. And on the speed grader for Canvas, again, we can use this for any assignments, even if it's an in-person assignment. I have a place where I can type the score. We've already seen that, but I can also give my students detailed feedback. Right, whatever feedback I want to give my students. So I'm going to click submit there. And I've given my students additional detailed feedback. You can add you can add attachments to the feedback. So if I have a file I want to get back to them, or if I want to record a video, whatever, those are all options I have there. So I think I've done all three of these things, right? Create assignments with due dates, type scores, there, good. So I'm going to show all this from the student's perspective in just a moment, but I want to first see if you guys have any questions about what I've done. Okay.
Greg, really quick, for speed grader, if you entered the grade for the points for the assignment, there's a little arrow right to the right of that. You can click on that, and that goes from the speed grader too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's another way to get speed grader. Okay, so let's take a look from the student's perspective. As I mentioned, every Canvas course has a phantom test student user who exists, and you can use that student to experience everything from your student's perspective, right? From the perspective of a generic student. How you activate the test student user, is you select the student view button here that's on the home page. And when you enable that, the Canvas window gets surrounded by this lilac or purple or lavender. What color is that? Whatever that border is, right? And there's a button at the bottom that says, the banner at the bottom says you are currently logged into student view. And then you have these two buttons here to reset student and leave student view. So anytime you can, you can take a quiz, you can submit a paper if you're doing that online, and then you can always reset and start back from ground zero. And of course, there's that button to leave student view. So here's what our students see when they enter this course that has been published, right? They see the course homepage, great. There's the instructor's contact information, super. They see a to-do list, these are the assignments, but if they go to the syllabus page, they can access the syllabus, right? There's that link. They can take the syllabus quiz. Oh, and look at this. I didn't mention this before. By default, the syllabus page in Canvas automatically lists every assignment sorted by due date. So my students now can see at the beginning of the semester when everything is due. Now, this information is probably in their syllabus anyway, but online they can take a look at this and then make whatever plans they need to do to arrange, right, for time management purposes. And then as students are graded, this little indicator pops up right on the course navigation menu. When our students go to grades page, they of course only see their own grades, right? They don't see anyone else's grades. But they see all the assignments, they see the score. If they have feedback, there's a little icon over here that pops up. So the student could click on this and see, oh, oops, I submitted the wrong, the wrong document, whatever the case is in this case. So the students can see this once we have created assignments and published those assignments, they get to see this list here. So that to me is a nice +1 for our students, so that anytime they can go in and they can see their grades so far. And then in addition to that, what our students can do is if there's an assignment that they haven't taken yet, they can test what if. What if it was Peggy Carter instead of Steve Rogers who took the serum to become Captain America, right? Or what if I work really hard on this theme project and I get 250 points? Well, what will my score be, right? My assignment there, my score jumps up to 76%. If I fail it, I'm only getting a 48%. So this is something that students can do on their time to test the what if score. Okay. Leave student view. I'm going to show this modules thing in just a moment, but I'm going to first go back and see if anyone has any questions about what we've done so far, the 4 steps rather with the +1. And this is my ending slide, but I'm going to, of course, come back to Canvas. Okay. So how do we transmit our syllabus to our students? There are actually 3 different ways to do it. And 2 of the ways are much better than the third way. And I'm going to show you the third way right now. So let's go to the syllabus link here. So let's pretend that what we're looking at right now is my syllabus on Microsoft Word, right? I've got it open in another window. What you can do is you could take Microsoft Word, copy it, and you could actually put it into this text box right here, right? There is my entire syllabus within this text box. And if I hit update syllabus, great, I've met the requirements. I think this is a bad idea because the list of assignments that's automatically on this page, that drops below the fold. In fact, it's not only below the fold, it's like 1, 2, 3. This is like at the back of section A of the newspaper, right? They got to scroll way down to see that list. I think that list is really helpful for my students. I know when I was an undergrad, I would have really loved to have an easy way to see my assignments listed like this in a date sorted way. So that's why I don't like that personally, but that's one option again. The second option I've already shown you, and that is to take the syllabus itself and provide a link to it on the syllabus page. We have to email a copy of our syllabus anyway to our division office. So we've already got it in electronic file format, probably PDF. Then that to me is a really easy way to do this. But there is a third option. I'll go ahead and show that now. And that's what some faculty do, is to create a, well, I guess there's a kind of a fourth option, right? I think you mentioned creating a bunch of content pages and then having distinct links to those content pages from the syllabus page. I wouldn't do that, and I think I'm going to meet the same interest by doing this new way. I wouldn't do that because I have to remember, or do I need to remember to add a link to section 2 from the section 1 content page and a link to section 3 and section 1 from the section 2 content page, right? There's a lot of extra links that I have to add in, but the modules tool in Canvas will add those next and previous links automatically. So here's another way to do that, is on the modules page, I could create a module and I could call this module syllabus. And then in this module, I could add those content pages, right? Content pages for each of those 4 sections. Now, I haven't done it yet, so I'm going to create these pages right now. I'm going to create a page called section 1. Again, your page names would probably be better than what I'm typing right now, because the sections will actually have titles like requirements and grades and calendar and those kinds of things. I think I have 3 in my class. So I just created 3 blank content pages, sections 1, 2, and 3. So I'll go into section 1, I'll edit it. And then in this text box here, I'm going to paste, but the only thing I'm going to paste is section 1. Save and publish. Because this is in a module, there's now a next button I can select. Here's section 2, edit, paste. And I'm using the cut command, of course, to get rid of this extra stuff. Save and publish. Go to next one, which is section 3, edit. And I think I only have 3 sections, save and publish. So now if I go back to my modules page, I see the syllabus module with these content pages in it. Notice that the module itself is unpublished. And that means that even though the content pages are published, my students cannot access those content pages because they're linked from an unpublished module. So there's a little circle here. If I select that, it's now published. And now my students can look at the modules page and see this syllabus, right? And here's the links there. What I could do on the syllabus page, let's leave student view here, is I could kind of get the best of both worlds. And then I can add some text here and say, there is a syllabus module, and the sections are each a separate item in that module. And let's create a list. And I'm now going to insert some course links, right? So insert a course link, and I'm going to select those pages I just created. There's section 1. Section 2. Section 3. Update syllabus. So that's a different way to get to that same interest, that same thing you described.
Yeah, that's what I exactly do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we have reached the end of the formal program here, but we still have some time. So I would love to answer any additional questions you have about Canvas. I hope this makes sense, the minimum requirements and how to use Canvas. And I also hope that I made it easy for you to fulfill those requirements if you are uncertain with Canvas or haven't used it much before. Those of us who have been around for a couple of years have plenty of Canvas experience, but I also know that we are welcoming new members to our faculty every semester. And so I hope that this is a useful video.
Hi, Greg. I have a question. This is Blanca.
Hi.
Hi, sorry for cameras off. Just a quick question about the syllabus, because I'm always, every semester I debate which format I should use. And I get the one that you suggested that probably is not the best. But so I do the liquid syllabus, Google. I created that and I just put the link. Because my syllabus is very extensive, it's more than 3 sections. And in the past, I've done it the other way, like you just showed the syllabus, creating a syllabus module, but there's a lot of sections and I felt like it was so overwhelming. So that's why I decided to create the liquid syllabus and just attach the link, which has all the sections, how they taught us how to do a liquid syllabus. Yeah. And so I have all that. So any ideas about that? Because I'm always doubting myself. Oh, maybe I should also put it on the module.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. There isn't a a single correct answer to that question.
Mhm.
So my answer is, obviously it goes without saying, but we'll say it anyway, right? What's most important is what will help your students succeed. So will your students need easy access to a particular section of the syllabus when they're doing an assignment, for example? That's a reason to have the separate content pages like I most recently shown, right? Because that way, if I'm putting my assignment instructions on one of these assignment pages, right, my writing assignments, if my syllabus includes a bunch of information about the writing assignments, they're obviously important in this course. And I'm not going to repeat all that information in every one of those assignment instructions, but it's important that students have access to that information about the assignment at the moment they're doing the assignment. Then in each of the descriptions for these assignments, I could add a link that goes back to one of these content pages, right, for that particular section. So that is a reason to do that. My own kind of criteria that I use for my teaching in terms of my syllabus, anytime I work with people, yes, it's important for what will help our students succeed. I think what's the most important kind of sub-point in that criterion is what is easiest and most comfortable for you. Because if you're not easy, if it's a lot of extra work and you don't like doing the extra work, or if it's you're not sure that it's you want to repeat all that information in a bunch of places, so those are things to keep in mind. In my own classes, I actually use a Google Doc as a syllabus, and then I link the Google Doc, like I showed you the PDF file, I link the Google Doc to that.
Right.
And the reason I use the Google Doc is because the Google Docs are very easily changed. I don't need to make a new file and upload it and replace the existing file and all that stuff. If I make a mistake in my syllabus, or if I want to be cruel and add an assignment late in the semester that my students weren't expecting, then I can just change the Google Doc and I can say, look, it was there on the syllabus. Of course, Nancy, I would never actually do that. So please don't use that as evidence against me next time I get reviewed. I noticed that my dean is here in the room. But anyway, my point is, if I want to make changes in my syllabus,
yeah.
right, that's pretty easy to do. That's also true of the liquid syllabus. And for those of you who don't know what the liquid syllabus is, I'm going to show you, I think, an example. I think I can do this. Liquid syllabus is the term for a Google site that is set up to, I'm going to show you one here. Can I publish? Sure, why not? I can always unpublish it because this isn't a real one. Okay. So here's what, there we go. Here's what a liquid syllabus, it's a term that was created by some course designers for @ONE. There's a course that we have here at CRC that also @ONE has called Equity and Culturally Responsive Teaching. And for this course, this liquid syllabus was created, and it's basically a Google site. So the sections of the syllabus, right, are links in the Google site. Because it's a website, it's very easy to add video. Like there's a video here on the homepage. These are from the facilitators of the course. In this course that we teach, right, we give the participants an option of doing this there's actually an assignment for the course to create a syllabus that's culturally responsive. And so what I could do is I could take this syllabus, let me go ahead and copy this link and go back into our course and go to syllabus. And again, just like I did with my PDF file or a Google Doc, I can actually just paste the link here. I would, of course, make a friendlier link text that I'll click update here. And now when my students click on that link, it should open that up in a new browser tab. Yeah, it does. So that's another option. In the example I brought up before, right? Like let's say, here's grading, right? Let's say I want this information to be attached to every assignment because I want my students to know what the grading standards are. I can actually take this link, right? I can copy it and I can add it to the all the assignment descriptions as well. Great question.
Thank you, Greg.
And let me say one more thing about liquid syllabus. I'm sorry, I just thought of this. So, so far, our area offices are not happy when we try to send them a link to the liquid syllabus as the link to our syllabus that we are using for our class. And so in that class that I know you were enrolled in, I created a video on how to, and it's fairly clunky, but basically how to create a Google Doc out of a Google site. And then you'd actually submit, make that Google Doc a PDF and submit that. Any other, what else is on your mind about using Canvas? Or really about anything at all, but I want to keep us focused on what we should be talking about.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
If you teach a lab class, so you have a series of modules for your lecture class, but you also have a series of labs. Do you usually do a separate is it best to do a whole separate section for the labs and then try to tie them together with the modules, or how is that best done?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that brings up a situation that we, a mess of our own creation here in Los Rios. We create a separate Canvas course for every Los Rios section. And we did this with the intent of allowing, it solved a problem, but it created a new one. So the problem it solved was, prior to Canvas, we had a system called D2L. And with D2L, the courses were created only by request. So it wasn't automatic like it is with Canvas. And the courses had to be requested by the lecture instructor of record. So this was that was built into the system. And we did have the occasion come up where there were lab instructors, right, who weren't the same lecture instructor. And I'm thinking like of chemistry, right? Where there'd be a lecture instructor, and then maybe say 3 labs associated with that chemistry lecture. So every student's enrolled in a lab, they attend the lecture, but those 3 lab instructors might be different people. And so we did have occasions where there were lab instructors who wanted to use D2L, but their lecture instructors didn't. And with that in mind, when we got Canvas, we were like, oh, let's just create a course for every section. And that way there doesn't need to be any, I mean, they should be working together anyway, you would think, but just in case they're not, we didn't want that to get in the way. The consequence was we have a whole bunch of classes where there is one lab and one lecture, and it's basically the same class. It shows up differently in payroll, and it shows up differently in PeopleSoft. And I know the CIS department has this a lot. And then because of this decision that we made, now there are separate Canvas courses created for the lab and the lecture, even though the same instructor for both classes, or for both sections, I should say, and it's the same students for both sections. So as a result, there are a number of faculty in the district who have up to a half of their Canvas courses that they never publish. To answer your question, it's best for the students if all of their stuff is in one Canvas course. So I know in, well, the division that you were dean of before, right? That division had the similar situation where there are a bunch of courses that had lab and lecture, right? But that's basically the same course, and there was a lab section, a lecture section. And from the student's perspective, there's no need really to click on a whole separate course. You can create a separate set of modules, right? These are our lecture material, and then a module for the associated labs. Or what I would do is and I don't know how many of us do that, but create a module for the topic and say, here's the lecture material, and then here's the labs, right? There we're going to work on connected to this topic.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. while I have an audience here, I will go ahead and like to mention and introduce and recommend and invite you to attend all the remaining Canvas workshops that are taking place this week. For the first time in my career, I'm doing 7, or I'm not doing all of them, but there are 7 related workshops. And again, this is taking advantage of the fact that many of us are working remotely, which means it's easier for us to attend events, attend things. So those events that are coming up after this one today at 2:45 in this, and these are all in the same Zoom room. There's going to be a workshop called Universal Design for Learning. It's being led by our own Jenna Trench. She is the online course design coordinator for CRC. She has developed an expertise in universal design, which is basically making sure that our material, our classes are accessible and usable by all of our students, and not just the ones who are privileged with sight or privileged with the ability to hear, so on and so forth. So that's today at 2:45. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Jenna and I are co-facilitating a workshop on backward design. And basically that means, and it's on backward design and assessment, which means making sure that our assessment activities are designed to assess the learning that is actually occurring in our classes, and making sure that we are designing assessments that are helping achieve our course learning outcomes. And then after that tomorrow, I said that was at 1 o'clock, tomorrow at 2:30, Paul Mines and I are co-facilitating a workshop called Easy Documentation of Outcomes Assessments, where we're going to share some tools that we've developed to make it easy. That's the title, to make it easy for instructors to document that our students have achieved the learning outcomes in our class, and also be able to do a demographic analysis of the outcomes achievements by our students. So that's pretty neat. And then on Thursday, I'm doing 3 workshops starting at 9:45 in the morning. It's called Fun Tech Tools. And I'm going to demonstrate and talk and show you how to use these tools called Flip, Padlet, and Badger. There are ways to add some interactivity and some pizzazz to our online classes. At 1:45, I've got a workshop called Interactive Instructional Video with Canvas Studio. Canvas Studio is a video management tool, and there's some neat tools that it has, and I'll be demonstrating and showing how to do that. And then finally at 4 o'clock, back by popular demand, this is my 3rd semester doing this in a row, I've got a workshop called Spicing Up the Rich Content Editor, which is a workshop showing how we can use some CSS and HTML to bring some pizzazz to the rich content editor. Okay. So we've got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to stop the recording, so it'll make it easier for me to edit this before I submit it, and it will be shared with everyone. And I want to say thank you for your attendance at this workshop. I hope it was helpful and useful for you. Please don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions and contact me. Oh, let me put back on the screen here. The website, CRC Online Education Resources, is a website we created to support those of us who are using Canvas and using other online resources to support the learning and success of our students.